Kate from UWS Early Learning in Kingswood. Last year, after the 3 workshops on obesity that I attended, I went back to my service and spoke to my team about making changes within our program and the implementation of nutrition into the children's daily routine. We came up with a number of new ways and also focusing on extending and building on what we were already doing to build up the children's activity levels and intake of healthy food. We have noticed an increase in their intake and their willingness to try new foods as well, because just from getting the staff to sit with the children to eat and participate in meal times with them has really helped. We've also implemented a boot camp to the preschool children, and they absolutely love getting out every day for half an hour with one of our teachers to engage in that, which is really good.
My name is Mitchell Beeks-Mosin. I work from the Blue Mountains Medicare Local. I'm one of the Indigenous outreach workers there. Basically, I work to link the Indigenous community up with health services, but I actually have a bit of a background in teaching traditional Indigenous games, so that's what I'm here to do today, and hopefully teach some of the staff and the community members about ways that they can incorporate the traditional Indigenous games into helping some of their kids. Traditional Indigenous games were played many years ago with some of the Indigenous communities that didn't have as many resources and stuff that we're lucky enough to have today. Like I said, they're very similar to the games that you'll see on your weekend everyday sport, just with a little bit of different changes in rules, but just as active and just as fun.
Probably the recipe book that we got in the resources, I'm finding that absolutely wonderful.
I was more focused on how she was talking about challenges for the kids that are physically active and to push them to a new challenge.
Yes, seeing how to apply all of those things, I think, because a lot of people don't really know how to put it into the children's lives, and also how much exercise they need to have each day. I think that was really important.
Very inspired, because she mentioned a lot about instead of us educators giving the children, they should get parents to get more involved, because they're main educators for kids, and it's good for them to get involved and also show them, instead of sitting at home, get out there, get active with the kids instead of making them do it themselves.
I feel really inspired. I take a lot back to my own centre and for my own family as well. I've got a few young children, and my 11-year-old is quite overweight for his age, and he's very active. He's a football player and he trains a lot and works out a lot, but he is still overweight. So it's inspiring to take home to your own family life and to take back to your centre. So yeah, it's good.
Being sensitive to the culture is really important, and knowing what is happening in that community. Also knowing what the family structure is as well, where the child is in that family. So a lot of the time what happens with Aboriginal communities is that the child might be cared for by the aunts or by the grandparents, so it's important to identify who the carer is in that situation as well. Other cultural issues will be the income are important too, so being aware of how much is available for the food budget, and also being aware of the knowledge that the people have for nutrition as well, and being transparent. I think that would probably be the biggest and most important thing as a health worker, always identifying what your reason for being there is, and then asking the people and the people you're working with how they see their problem and what areas they want to change, and then working together with that rather than coming up with the ideas yourself. The key messages with the Aborigines is no different to other people of the Australian population, so we're looking at low sugar, high fibre, and trying to make sure that they have lots of fruit and vegetables and low amounts of fat and saturated fat, which comes from animals and processed foods. Probably the most important with the children is making sure that their sugar content isn't high and looking at the sources of food where they're getting sugar from. So that would be soft drinks, fruit juices, seeing how that could actually be reduced or changing it over to water preferably. Also we're looking at where the saturated fats are coming from. So the processed foods tend to be something that's high in this population as well. So trying to teach and educate how you can cook things which are healthy, which are cheap and effective for, and things that children like, that they're going to eat. Yeah.